That'll work. What up, peoples? Back you up just a little bit, too. There's somebody. There's two somebodies. Trucker Willie, what's up? Warwick, what's up, you old dog? I know you're flooding out over there. Bulldog. Some little pregnant bumblebee car. KW, what's going on? I don't know about the morning part. Scott, ain't talked to you in a minute. Big Tiny, what's up with you, brother? JJ even made it in here. Dad gum, I figured getting on this late, I wouldn't have anybody in here. And the whole crew's showing up. Y'all be sure and hit that thumbs up button for me. Warwick, you was making it sound like that rain's pretty bad over there. How many days you been getting rain now? What are they predicting? You're on the wrong schedule. Been there, done that one. I totally understand. 12:15 p.m. Well, that's about 9:15 here Monday evening. Well, it's what, Tuesday there, noon Tuesday or something, right? That's true, JJ. I wasn't going to say that, buddy. See, I was being nice to you. So you need on your calendar. You're the first to click the like. Well, thank you. So they got 3 of them on there. I'm pouring down right now. Well, this little area that we're in, just the other day we had pretty good rain squalls passing through the whole area. And it seems to either go just south of us or just north of us. So it is what it is. Yeah, it looks like I lost a couple already. That wasn't a bad looking car there. A dark blue with some white trim on it. Well, y'all help me make this a conversation tonight, not just a one monkey show. And I need to adjust that a little bit more. Well, I don't know, Tiny. It's showing 4 of them on there. But I appreciate you clicking on it. Me and Grandma just been knocking out little odds and ends, stuff we're needing to do. Watch a little bit of streetcar racing. Next 3 days, talking 5 to 6 inches. Oh, did you get the new patio in? Oh, probably 3 or 4 weeks. So, at least a week over there. Well, at least they're talking about it easing up. Actually, some of them look good. So, was watching a video on how to ship the Mac. Okay. Most of them ship like a big truck. Ain't any more. All these trucks, man, they're copycats. You know, they have made them so simple and so much all alike so that these students they have trained can go out there and stand a chance. You did a cover, didn't want to tear it out. We'll see. Okay. So you're just trying to divert that water. Well, this rain coming up or to tell you if that works or not. But yeah, whoever that KW I think asked, yes, I do like some of the underglow trucks and stuff. Some of them they do it right and it looks good. Some of them they go overboard and it looks gaudy as hell to me. There you go, Tiny. He's helping you. Oh, you're talking about the old two sticks. Uh huh. Those don't ship like normal trucks. Old two stick Max. You got to stick your arm through the steering wheel to hold on that steering wheel to shift one of them. And you better not hit no pothole and let that steering wheel go crazy. It'll break your arm. Well, good, JJ. I hope it works for you, man. Have you talked to any of them about replacing any of that wall? Cool chick, what's up? Well, at one time it was Georgia and another time it was Texas. It all depends upon where Mama was. Because that was the best state to drive through, heading home to Mama. Well, I could aggravate her, make her mad. But some of my favorite was up on the northern plains in the right time of year. It always blew me away if you get up there and run across the 80 and stuff. You look out across all them gullies and all that nonsense. Get out there in the Badlands. And it just amazed me that 100 years ago, 150 years ago, our forefathers was crossing all that stuff in a wagon with a bunch of children and a mad wife. Lettuce King says there is no need to shift both sticks at the same time. He does it. Uh-huh. After you learn a little bit, they're not confusing at all. One is basically a high, low and high side, like that button that we have nowadays on the gear shift. And it's all a matter of how you want to do it. Oh, the van's leaking. That ain't good. Cut the top off. Make it a topless Jeep. Everybody likes to go topless. What is Walcott like? That's a big truck stop. Actually, if you go over to my Facebook page, there should be a bunch of pictures of the truck museum there. Oh yeah, you needed to get what was causing the problem taken care of. You did it right. Always skeptical? Yes, praising Jesus is a good thing, my brother. All the time. God is good. Felicia, what is going on with you? It has been a long time. Well, it might have been a long time since you've been able to come in. It's been a long time since I just came in for no reason and did a live stream. I'm going to try to start picking up more on my channel and doing a little bit more. I just got all burnt out, aggravated, discouraged, and when I came off the road with this COVID nonsense, I pretty much just quit. Got to put my eyeballs on, sorry. Let's see. God bless America and the chat. Well, I hope you're praying for God to help this country. Oh, no, you didn't throw no iron at all? My goodness. Actually, all the years I was out there, I only threw chains 3 times. And that was all for me. I wouldn't throw a chain for the company for nothing. Ain't doing it. But to get me over that mountain or whatever, I'd do it. No, I'm still on the phone, JJ. The one that was supposed to teach me how to use all that stuff didn't get to teach me. So I'm open to stop by over there and see Brandon and Destiny and Hunter. And Hunter's supposed to be pretty good on that stuff. Let him educate me a little bit. Yeah, if you get in the right company with expediting, it can be good. Especially if you're team driving. A lot of them companies, if you're not a team, they won't run you over 500 miles, and that ain't worth nothing. You need to be a team and running some real freight. Now get a little bit of experience under your belt. Try to find a owner-operator that's got a small fleet of FedEx trucks. Get on with them. Whatever company you're with right now, use them for training. Get your year or so under your belt. Learn how to work their system. See how their freight works. And it'll start giving you a clue. You need to be making yourself notes on what's your major hubs for your freight. What's the big cities that you go in and out of the most? That's what really counts. Some of y'all hit that thumbs up for me. I'll have my haters in here in a little bit. No, there's a lot of people who don't want to pray at all, much less for the country. No, I didn't do that. If there was a change law sign, then, but back then we used to run the CB, and you would hear way in advance that they was putting up the chain laws and stuff, and we also knew where the last truck stop was before you started hitting them mountain ranges where you needed them, and would stop and check in there. Nowadays it's nothing but a phone call. Well, if you're a tight husband and wife and they're husband and wife, if you're tight and secure in your relationship, team driving's not that big of a deal. And you will get into little fusses with each other. Whoever ain't driving, they just need to go to the bunk, go to the sleep area, close the curtains. Y'all get a little bit of time away from each other. Once tempers have calmed down and all that, you go back up there and y'all talk about it and go on down the road. Me and Grandma put a lot of miles together. And there was more than once that she went back to the sleeper and closed the curtain and laid down in the bunk and started reading. Across the Mighty Mac. I ain't sure what you're calling the Mighty Mac. Well, that's how me and Grandma are. We're best friends. We use that what is his name? The old saying, it's just you and me, kid, against the world. That's our favorite saying. And it's so true. Same thing with you two. Nobody else but that one right there that you bicker with once in a while. And just don't let the bickering go to extremes. I told Grandma when we started dating that I wasn't one of them to do all that hollering and screaming and cussing at each other and hitting and throwing stuff. I told her I ain't going to do that. I refuse to do that. I won't live it. I grew up in something like that, and I will not live it as an adult. We don't do that. No. No. Well, Grandma's only cussed me and called me one bad name once, and after she woke up, no, it didn't get that bad, but she apologized. She told me I didn't fight fair because she came out of a relationship that did that arguing, yelling, and cussing, and he beat the hell out of her and all that. It just totally messed her up when she got mad and started all that, and I just sat there, let her get her out of her system. I said, you done now? Yeah. Let's go outside and sit on the deck. We had a house there on Corpus Christi Bay. Sit on our deck and watch boats come in the ship channel and look plumb across the bay at Corpus Christi. Had our plants all around us. We'd go out there and sit and chill out. Then we had the discussion again. And she found out what she was mad about was wrong. But still, she don't do that no more. She only tried it once. And told me then, you don't fight fair. I said, what do you mean? Well, you just sit there and let me go on and on. I said, okay. I told you I wouldn't play that shit. I ain't playing that shit. We've been together well over 20 years now. So I guess something's working, huh? Oh, more than likely I've been over it, Tiny. Well, that's a good rule, but that rule don't always work. More than once, me and Grandma's went to bed mad. That's back, Saddle Tramp. Howdy, man. Me and Grandma's in this little garage here we're converting into a mother-in-law suite. So many people was tripping us going from that 2,000 plus square foot house we had in Texas, going into this little one room efficiency basically. And they thought that we would be killing each other. We laughed at them. We said we lived in a truck together for over a year. Shit, altogether, probably about 3 years or more. If you can live together in a truck and not get a divorce, you're pretty secure in your relationship. It's about 60 degrees outside here. Nice mellow evening. Me and Grandma should have fired up a fire in the fire pit there. We ain't done it. Dadgummit. But yeah, we're plugging it, getting ready to take off on our next adventure in life. Getting a little bit of stuff wrapped up around here. We got more or less another month to go before we start. So, oh, you ain't been watching my video, see? Well, now, skeptical, couple things there. First off, you can't blame just the women. It takes two to tango. So the men are as guilty as the women. So you can't lay that at the women's feet. And secondly, this whole issue you talking about, that's been going all the way back to Jesus' time and before. There is nothing new about men and women having sex before marriage. Nothing new at all about it. So it's just a matter of the individual and their faith. But you, young man, need to quit laying at a woman's feet. It's not just the women. You've been driving and sleeping, I got you. Well, me and Grandma's bought us a 3/4 ton Dodge pickup. And we bought us a little camper. A couple of little short videos showing you them here in the last few weeks. You don't get to see the inside yet because we got stuff scattered everywhere trying to get it packed, figured out what we're taking and what we're not. Down the road, there'll be another video about that part. Yep, that's pretty much how my wife is. There you go. Well, a lot of people won't, Tiny. And the question is, if she won't cut it in the truck, is she going to cut it if you start driving? It takes a special breed of woman to be a truck driver's wife. I can tell you that now. I need to move this up. Putting a kink in my back. Well, you know what you're destroyed by. Satan rules the world. And the world today is trying to make all that sinful stuff be okay. If you come into my Sunday morning services, I'm telling you that all the time. Your biggest fear is this world. You know, what did Jesus tell you? If you love this world, then you'll hate me. If you hate the world, then you'll love me. People don't understand that. Well, exactly, Felicia. That's what we say, is that we traveled enough of the big roads, and we've seen the sign that says no trucks and all this. And me being a hillbilly, I see that road going over that mountain. I want to know what they're hiding over there. They got to be hiding something from us, so. Well, sure, I see it, skeptical. Well, thank you, Tiny. You got to be right up on it to see any difference in it. Bobby, what's up, my brother? Semper Fi. But yeah, we've got more stuff we're doing. I'm just showing you little bits and pieces as we go along. Oh, we're trying to set ourselves up to go out right. So, and once we get everything taken care of and we get down the road a little bit, we got one little rest area, one little campground we're going to probably stop at for 2 or 3 days, whatever. Visit, get set up there. There you go. So is everybody driving? Y'all done parked up for the day? What y'all doing? I know 2 or 3 of you ain't driving. Big Tiny, JJ. Then you better have a job planned out before you go. Them regional jobs, you'll wind up going with one of the mega companies. Out of Washington. It ain't black cherry season yet, or apple season yet. Well, that's what we're trying to do. Do it right. Well, good, Skeptical. Thank you. Glad you've been watching for a while. Oh. Well, I want to do more than let her fix it. I want to video it. I'm going to be trying to get some different videos. Starting your day in just a bit. I hear you. Nighttime used to be my favorite time to run. I covered many a mile through the night. It was a whole different world back then. 13 speed don't fit your hand anymore. I hear you. These people telling you that you're going to miss trucking. You got diesel in your blood. You'll miss it. No, not even a little bit. And when I do think about missing it, I go onto YouTubes and watch some of the videos of people doing stupid stuff. And say, yeah, I remember that. No, I don't want to go do that. Oh. And it ain't just the cars no more. Damn a Warwick. Well, Tiny, at your age, there's a lot of companies that prefer hiring people, and I know you're a little bit younger than me, probably 10 years or so. But there's plenty of these companies that are looking for the older people simply because they're more reliable and they are better drivers than these kids. These kids want to drive the truck like it's a pickup truck, have their feet up on the dash and talking on the phone, listening to the radio while they're texting. Literally. So they do like to hire some of the older people. And a lot of these big companies, if you talk to them, down where you're at, it shouldn't be too bad to find one of them companies that hire you to run regional. However, you may have to go out and run the road, OTR, over the road for 2 months or 3 months or whatever to get that experience under your belt before they cut you loose running regional. You do not want to train running regional. If you do that, you spend so much time in the docks, and the driver tries to use you as nothing but a cash register. Make money off you, but not train you. You have to worry about that everywhere anyway. So, but there you go, little heads up. You miss your truck? Yeah, I don't miss mine. Yep, that's a fact. Mine and when I went to train grandma, I was gonna put her through a school, and she told me point blank, plain and simple, is if I'm getting trained, you're gonna train me. These trainers out here still need to be trained, because she had done rode with me enough, and me pointing stuff out to her, and she was like, "Nah, I don't need none of them idiots training me. You train me." Okay. Been trying to do that for years, and it never worked. Well, those what do they call them? Autonomous trucks. Drivers won't even be on them. Say Jacksonville, Florida to El Paso. That truck will go on its own. It'll have certain places that it stops to be fueled, and it will continue on its way. There'll be a truck driver get in it at Jacksonville to go pick up a load or a loaded trailer, whatever's got to be done. Then he'll take it to a certain point by the interstate, and he'll get out, and some clown sitting in a office, say in Atlanta, he'll do that little finger warrior stuff, and the truck will leave. When it gets to El Paso, it'll stop at a certain place just outside of town. A driver will get into the truck. He'll go fight all the traffic and the nonsense, get the load delivered, go pick up something else, take it back to that yard pointing at the opposite direction, get out, and that old boy in the, with the computer warboard, that's how it's going to work. So drivers will never be obsolete. They're just going to cut way back on what you do. So, and then you have the supply and demand. And if the current government that we have, you could get knocked out by an illegal with COVID. They'll let him work and send you home. Oops, did I say that? And I said it out loud. Shame on me. There's a lot of that 3 months training people. Yes, sir. Oh, you're 8 months younger than me? Oh, you damn baby. Young whippersnapper. Well, if you're going to start driving, you better start pretty damn soon. Or you're going to be put out to pasture. Can you see my truck and camper over there? Just sitting there in the dark, behaving. Well, I don't know, JJ. There's quite a few, like Saddle Tramp. Saddle Tramp would love to be able to get out and do a little more driving. My dad, when he retired with over 30 years, he had like 35, and when he retired, uh, he still wanted to drive. He got retired for health issues. Then he started running a hot shot. That was a pickup with a fifth wheel in it, running campers around. So it's hard saying, dude. How about paying cash for CDL school? Pick up some short time job for the experience and buy a used tractor for cash and run independent. If you knew what you was doing and had a plan, that wouldn't be all bad. But so many people think they're going to just go buy a truck and get rich. It really don't work that way. What you would have to do, Tiny, is start finding your customers now. Whoever's around you that manufacture stuff. Find out if they've got short loads they need covered. And talk to some of them and find out, are you going to do this with a flatbed, a dry box, a reefer unit, a low boy? Just what exactly kind of equipment do you need to do this? And I tell people, and I've told them in the old videos, anybody can buy a tractor. For $1,000, you can buy a truck. That's the easy part. Now, if you buy a truck and just lease it on with one of these mega companies, you're nothing but a glorified company driver. To be a true independent, you have your own authorities and all that, which you need a little bit of time on them. So if that's even a consideration, you need to get your authorities now. You don't have to have a truck to get your authorities. And that the way they judge is how long you've had your authorities. So you have to have a plan. All right, KW, be careful out there, man. That's the biggest failure of these wannabe owner-operators out here, is they'll get on with a mega company, and most any of them anymore wants to sell you a truck, so they say, but you're really just leasing it. The IRS had a little deal several years back to determine who was a true owner-operator and who was a company driver. And what it boiled down to is who made the plans for that truck. Now, is the company telling you where to go, what to pick up, when to deliver, or are you choosing that? Is the company the one that tells you when to change your oil, when to get your tires, or is that your decision? So they laid out a list, and I don't know exactly how it went, but that's close. And they said you have to meet certain critique to be a owner-operator. And that's because all the companies was wanting to hire people like myself, hire you on a 1099. That's where they don't hold out no taxes, and it was all on me to pay my taxes. And too many drivers, like myself, did not pay our taxes. Then all of a sudden, when IRS finally got a hold of me, they said I owed them like $600,000. And I said, oh my Lord. Because the companies that I was running the 1099 for, they will throw everything they can on you so that they take all the expenses, the breakdowns and all that, all the write-offs, they try to steal, and they shove more money. It looks like they're shoving more money on you to make it look like you made this big bucks, and it didn't cost you nothing. Well, the IRS finally caught on to that. So, and yes, I'm right with IRS now, and it took several years, but I had the tax attorney and the whole bit. But yeah, there's still some stuff out there. There's still companies that pay 1099. So you got to be careful. And you have to remember, you, speaking to Tiny, because he's the one that brought any of this up, you are a rookie and you don't know nothing about the rules of the game that's being played. These truck companies have been playing this game. They wrote the rules. So you're at a disadvantage. You're going into it not knowing they know, they got you. So, and that's one of the problems with these kids when I started doing videos trying to help people that coming into the trucking. They didn't want to hear it. Oh, you're an old fart. You don't know nothing about trucking. It's all changed now. We know how to lease a truck and make a fortune. Well, a lot of them boys don't have the YouTube channels no more either. Well, sure they like that 1099. They're not paying their share of your taxes. Because on your taxes, with the job you have right now, if you look, you're not paying all your taxes. They're paying 50% of a whole bunch of stuff and contributing. They're not paying your Social Security. So at the end of your life, your work life, you go to draw Social Security, it's going to show that you ain't been paying in. So now there's a problem. All of your other taxes that they're supposed to pay part of, they ain't been paying it. Now, most of them, you're only going to make a little bit better than the average company driver. And at the end of the year, when you see what's due, oh man, you'll make less than a company driver. I promise you. Well, I'm glad you love us grumpy ones too, darling. You think I need to put that on my back window of my camper? Grumpy old man ahead. I am getting antsy to get started on this trip we're wanting to do. And like when we had our motorcycle, we had a big old Harley Davidson. It was a glider, a bagger. We had it all. And on the helmet box on the back, I put caution, geezer sled. There was those that knew what that meant. Yeah, I hear you, Saddle Tramp. They don't play well, do they? Oh. But I have me a good attorney. He got them knocked way down, but it still took me a long time to pay them off. I think we just finished paying them off like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was glad to have them off my back. And I'll tell you when they came down the hardest on us, really pushing me for money, that was when Grandma made a donation to the Republican election fund. Whoever she made a donation to, it was to a Republican outfit. And I think that signed her up as a Republican when she did it. And you talk about, they started hammering that old woman. They wanted all her money now. Only problem was she didn't have any money. Well, I hear you, Tiny. In this day and age, man, I don't recommend trucking to a bunch of old people like you. You ain't going to have the patience for it. Mr. Paul, what's up, brother? Of course I'm alive. What, you think Grandma got mad and killed me? I ain't scared. Ain't scared even a little bit. Talking to Tiny about trucking. Not that he really cares, but gives me something to talk about. So what are you doing? What did you cook my girlfriend for dinner? I let Grandma have a bologna sandwich in there. I asked her, what do you want to do for dinner? She said, bologna sandwich. I said, okay. You talked me into it. So here before long, I'll go have a bologna sandwich. Pork chops and tater salad. Did you make the tater salad or did you buy it? I tell you what, Paul. You already know from watching my cooking videos, we have a lot of gadgets and different things. You can only hold so much in this camper. And we're actually having a hard time figuring out what to take. So we've been bringing over what we think we want. And now it's going to be a matter of keep rearranging stuff in there and see what we can take, what we have room for. So we did that today, went over and went through some stuff, brought more stuff over. Was in there trying to go through some of it and fit it in. And finally she said, are you done? I said, yeah. We just closed the door and came over here. Oh. You can't take it all with you. Yeah, I told Grandma she's going to just have to kick me out in the ditch somewhere and throw some leaves over me. Tiny, there wasn't nothing wrong with what you said, brother. And the mega companies do take advantage of new drivers. Get you in there, teach you a little bit, burn you out, spit you out, and let you go down the road, whether you go home or you go find a real company. And I've tried 2 or 3 of the big companies. It didn't work out so good, believe it or not. They didn't like my mouth, my attitude. You wouldn't, Paul. Well, I guarantee you there's a bunch of them out there. Horror stories, that is. And the thing is, that's like Stone. Now, I was talking to Stone before he decided to made up his mind and get in the truck. And I tried telling him different things. Literally, because we talked on the phone a few times. And little shithead didn't listen. And he went out and did his own thing and got married up with a big mega company, a team company at that. You was required to run team. So here you got two idiots out here that's only half trained, and you're supposed to trust your life to this other individual. I told him there ain't no way I could do that. And he admitted down the road, he was like, dude, I wish I'd listened. You was right. He said, you and me and his grandpa both told him the same stuff. Well, now you got two old grumpy men telling you this stuff. You ought to listen, young'un. Oh. And I think right now he's landed himself a pretty decent local job. Not an ideal job, but a pretty decent job. Oh. Only time would tell on that. Oh. Come on, y'all, chat me up a little bit. Give me something to talk about. If you ain't careful, I'm going to start telling you how good looking I am. We'll start bringing up the chick magnet stuff. The oil rigs. Now, that's pretty good pay up there. But dadgum, the cost of living there and around them oil fields. Uh-huh. See how you are, Pa? It's 2 T's and a Y. Actually, he's doing pretty good right now. He's doing pretty good. That damn dog next door. I got a big old stack of plexiglass there. I guess I need to move. Take it over to storage unit. Whether I want to or not. Well, and that's the thing, Tiny, is people don't look at him. Now, he's not on no kind of lease. He's on a local job. Boy, ain't that the truth, Paul. There ain't no good-looking trucks. They all look the same. Well, that's a good deal, John. I never did the trucking in the oil field. I worked the rigs for a couple years. Back when I was young and foolish. Made some awesome money. That was back in the early 80s. And blew it all like an idiot. Fast cars, slow women, strong whiskey. Well, what I was going to tell you, Tiny, I had to scroll back there, see what you had commented on that had me think of something. When Grandma decided to come out, I've checked a bunch of companies about the husband teaching the wife. And right, I read your message there, your comment. But Prime had the best deal for me to teach Grandma how to drive. So we went over there to Prime. And the first day in there, they give you a contract to read. So I'm reading this contract. Well, maybe it was the second day. And I'm reading this stuff. And I'm telling Grandma we don't need to be here. We don't need to do this. Well, Grandma was scared because we didn't have a job. One thing led to another, and she came out, and I started training her. And Lord and behold, I was used to running outlaw, putting down some miles. I could run a team's job by myself, like a lot of us could back then. I couldn't make no money for them. Then they'd say, well, you need to take ACE class. So I took their ACE class. Went back out, did it how they said to do it, couldn't make no money. We need to take ACE 2 class. So I took ACE 2 class. I couldn't make no money with them for nothing. Finally, we had a big blowout, and they got to keep their truck. But the whole point is, you're right. It don't matter how many miles you drive with them, you can't make no money. So... Well, that's when I got some money, borrowed some money against my pickup that was paid off, and bought us a travel trailer and put it in a little campground for Grandma. Then I continued driving for them and trained a couple other people. Still couldn't make no money. We had a big blowout at Christmas time, which is a story in its own self. But that's when I started working for the power line company, Highline Construction, and dragged that trailer around from place to place, and we enjoyed it. So, yeah, something like that. They tell me Prime's changed a lot. It's a lot better company, and they can make money over there. While I was there, they had a handful of people that they let make some good money. And those are the same people that you'd hear on the radio on the Truckers channel on Sirius Radio, and go around and meet people at these truck shows where Prime would have a booth and stuff set up, and they'd show them their pay stubs and brag about how much money they made and all that good nonsense. And look at all the bonuses I got. Of course, they didn't tell you that's 1 out of 5,000 that could actually do that. And that was with the help of their dispatcher, so they had somebody to promote their company. So yep. Then I leased a truck a second time with a company called Buell out of South Carolina. Reefer wagon again. And I did okay. I was making okay. Not like I thought I should. Good evening, Matt. Well, yeah, they were 3-digit trucks. That ain't no lie. They used to be outlaw big time. Bunch of them used to be, and then DOT busted them. But that Buell, I was doing okay with them. Then they sent out a letter to everybody, a message on the Qualcomm, and they was getting 22 cents. They was going to start charging 22 cents a mile, and to their company, pay rate. Yeah, I can believe it, Paul. So I was watching my stubs, my settlement, and I wasn't seeing no raise on there. So I went in and asked the general manager, where the hell's my share of this money? You're charging 22 cents more. So she started breaking it down, and a penny goes to the tire fund, and a penny goes here, and a penny goes there, and they was keeping like 10 cents a mile because you wouldn't believe how much our reefer fuel bill is because they had to pay for the reefer fuel. You wouldn't believe how much my diesel bill is either. So it turned out where us drivers, we actually got a half a cent out of them going up 22 cents a mile on their rates. We got a half a cent. That was when I said, okay, that's enough of this. Yeah, back in the day, I used to listen to Dave. He's got a fleet of them FedEx trucks. What's up, Earth Zero? Hey, just when I start thinking about getting off, a few more people pop in. Y'all hold up your end of the conversation and we'll keep this going a while. If not, I'll go in there and harass Grandma. No, I've got the license for doubles and triples, but I never hauled them. And anybody that's getting into the industry, I would suggest them to go ahead and get their hazmat, get their doubles and triples or combinations. Get any and every endorsement that you can. That opens up more possibilities of what you're going to do. Well, thank you, Earth. I appreciate that. Mighty kind of you. I hope to see a lot more of that here in the near future when we're out traveling and trying to show y'all stuff. Oh. Optimus, what's up? Yeah, they're going pretty good overall. Mark, my brother, what's going on with you? How's it down in your part of the world? Should be getting hot. You're in Florida, right? Should be getting hot this time of year. And hopefully you ain't in Miami. Because I know stuff's heating up down there. It didn't look good at all. I hear you, Tiny. Oh, El Paso, okay. Well, El Paso's catching a lot right now, too. That's a fact, Matt. That is a fact. However, if they get that hazmat and they get a little experience with them, they can go out and do that oil field stuff you're talking about, see? Their doubles and triples won't help them there, but they need to get them while they're getting them. And they can go out there and haul some of that wastewater and different stuff that require hazmat. Most of the least I drove for was 24 cents a mile. And that was hub mile. And buddy, I made some money. It was an outlaw outfit. And I made some money with them. Well, Saddle Tramp, I'll tell you, I remember being out there and you'd have to watch the fence post and stuff and see a sign out there telling you what AM station that you could pick up in that area. You'd be over there trying to dial it in going down the road. FM was just getting started in them days. Well, me too at one time. I let my hazmat go after 9/11. And to my knowledge, they don't furnish you housing in the oil field. Because all around there, people are just gouging the dickens out of you. Well, what he's talking about, JJ, was way back in the early 80s and stuff. And you got to remember, we could run a lot more miles back then than we can now. We didn't have a computer and everything tracking us. That's the old thing that you say, I'm out of hours, and dispatch will tell you they sell them in the truck stop. So you'd go in there and buy your new logbook, and you'd take off again. That's where you hear drivers talking about running 2, 3, 4 different logbooks at a time. North of 7, howdy. And how's it going in Calgary right now? I ain't been up there in years. I used to go through there quite often, at least once a week. All right, Felicia, be safe, honey. Tell the old man howdy for me. Y'all be safe out there. Enjoy it. That's the main thing. Enjoy it. Oh, goodness. Are y'all winding down now or what? I'm starting to think about that bologna sandwich. Oh, yeah, Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. That man, he had his act together. That old deal. Well, thank you, North of 7. Appreciate that. He had a deal. I've shared it before. It goes around. You ought to look it up. I think it was like, you getting ready to roll too? Dadgum. Everybody act like they're night drivers anymore. Well, you be safe. I'm glad you got to pop in and holler howdy. I'm going to be trying to come on live more often, so be watching for me. Make sure the bell's on. Well, cool. I hope you join us on Sunday mornings. I lost track of what I was talking about. That don't surprise me. Uh-huh. I kept mine in the side box. Too many drivers kept them in their sleepers and they'd get busted with them. And when loose leaf came out, oh, that was truck driver's best friend. I loved it. I'd get up there in South Dakota. There was a coffee cup truck stops. And you could buy them up there a year's worth, 12 months worth in a package. Cheaper than anywhere else. I'd go through there and I'd buy 3 or 4 years worth. They're like, golly, I'll be back for more. Well, I'd go through them. Another pregnant bumblebee, do you hear it? And these trucks would go through here with their pipes roaring. I asked Grandma if she want me to put them on that Hemi over there. No. Uh-huh. Yep, we all had our little hiding spots, our own ways of doing it. Thank you, Paul. If you all see that link Paul put up, that's to my Patreon page. That's where you can go and support the company. Get another spring snow shower. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I tell people down here, they're north, I tell people down here I prefer Canada's way of keeping the roads because they don't just run out there and start plowing them. They let it snow. Now, in their cities, they will, but on your general roads out there, they just let it accumulate till the storm's over. Then they go out and knock it off. And it's much easier to drive in snow than it is on ice. And when you run out there and you're constantly knocking it off the road, you turn these roads into ice. So I much preferred y'all's way. Now, sometimes it was hard to tell where the road was, I ain't gonna lie. And you can't always just follow the tracks in front of you, that's for sure. If you see red lights out there in the field, don't follow his tracks. Oh. Well, I don't know about erasable ink pens, but we had our ways. I need to get one for my truck. What is yours? One of them that works off your phone or what? Backwoods, what's up? It is going good. A pickle mix. Okay. Well, Zachy4, howdy. Whatever language you're talking in, you need to hit that button and make it go English. Or else we're going to have issues understanding each other. See if you got a button that says hillbilly. Well, most everybody can stumble through, understand a little bit of hillbilly. Really? But what does it go to? Does it go to your phone? Or how does it give you an image up front? Because I want to get one for the back of my truck to help me back underneath this camper where Grandma ain't got to be guiding me onto it. Because I got a bumper pull. Yes, I did, North. One of my main places that I went to was Wizard Lake over there. Malibu boats over there. Now, I delivered some into Calgary and Saskatoon, and there was a couple other little towns that I would hit. All right, Tiny, good night, brother. Yes, you can. Anybody can do their day job groggy. Just drink more coffee. Oh, it has a 5-inch monitor. Really? Well, send me a link to it in a private message if you would. Well, I used to tease them up there that the oil field workers, they had to buy boats because it was illegal to take moose. And I tell you what, hauling them boats in up there in the ice storms and snowstorms and middle winter weather, that was crazy to me. I hauled boats up there so cold my truck froze up going down the road one time. Another time it had got so cold that my metal hooks on my straps broke. It was that cold. Yeah, I put my time in up there, that's for sure. And that's the boy leaving to go pick his bride up from work. I tell you what, it gets cold enough up there, anything freezes up. No, that's a Chrysler. I tell people, I said, you ever watch that Ice Road Truckers? Oh, yeah, yeah. I said, where they show it getting so cold metal breaks? They're not lying. Been there and done it. Yeah, that ain't no lie. And see, y'all don't have very good truck stops up there at all. So, there was just a couple of them. One of them had a, what was it? It wasn't a Waffle House. It wasn't IHOP. It was a Denny's. One of them had a Denny's up there. Yeah, actually I did. The most of the Canadians I met was right there in the middle of the country, and they all told me, if you go to the far west or the far east, it's just like your country. That's where you got a bunch of liberals. But them out in the middle of the country there, they's all pretty cool. Same thing with crossing the border. You cross into Canada, and them Canadians that's checking you in, nice and friendly, and you know, you got your passport and all the stuff. They scan it. Yep, you're good. Go ahead. You come back to the States empty, and they're x-raying your truck and wanting to drill you and acting like a bunch of asses. The American side was the pain in the butt side. That's just a fact. Matter of fact, was it Calgary or Saskatoon that had the old, what was it, International factory? They used to build trucks up there. And that was about 2 blocks behind where the boat dealership was I delivered to. And I'd go park up back there. That's where they told all of us to park. And then they would come get us of a morning when they was ready, because all them boat lots, they're just swamped with boats. And they have to shuffle stuff all around and make room to get you in there to the crane or the boat lift, which that one had a boat lift. So I pulled in down there one night. I was tired, and I crash out. I couldn't have been asleep more than an hour, and I hear knocking on the door, which is highly unusual up there. So I get up, and here's some guy. He's all got all his winter gear on because it's cold. It's winter time. And I roll the window down, and what? In my gruff, sleepy old man voice. And he pulls his hoodie off so I can see him. It's me, man. Go on, get out and have a beer. And it was one of the guys that worked at that boat dealership, and he recognized my truck. So I jumped out. It's still cold. You don't need a cooler up there for your beer in the winter. We're standing around drinking a beer, and the cops show up. We had seen security guard off over there in the distance, but he didn't have the cojones to come over and talk to us. So he called up, and here's 2 cop cars that pull up, and they're checking everybody out. And the old boy that worked at the boat dealership, he's pointing at me and says, Man, he ain't got nothing to do with this. He's American. He's driving that truck over there. Please don't bother him. Just let him be. We drug him out of his truck to have a beer with us. And they were super cool about it. Didn't take the beer. Didn't write nobody no ticket. They just said, y'all behave. Well, I thought that was pretty good. It would not have came down like that here in the States unless you was out in the country like this. So that was a cool experience up there. Any more of their hamburgers are fine up there. Well, there's a whole bunch of crossings through there. I went through one. I had to go through Moosehead up there. You got a Flying J over there. Oh. I used to love the name of that, Moosehead. Y'all do have some really wild names. Car Steps, I think, was one of them up there. And I'm like, somebody was really drunk when they named these towns. I've never had any issues up there whatsoever. Not even one. And like I said, I went up there for several years hauling boats for 2 different companies. Never once had any issues. Now, way out west, out towards Washington, we would go through. No, it was like Carstairs. If you look it up, I bet you'll find it. We crossed over up there. I don't remember the name of that crossing either. But that was on the far west side, and there was one scale house. And normally it was closed of a night. And there was 2 of us with the exact same trucks, W9s, stretched out, both hanging off the rear. Now, you could call Canada and you could get a permit either for our truck, which was too long for their regulations, or you could get a permit for the boats being stuck over the back. But you couldn't get a permit for both. I never got a permit for none of them. This other old boy, when I would go through, I'd make sure I went through at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and that scale was closed, and I could ride right on by it. There was not a scale coming south. And it seemed like every time he went through there, he'd get busted. They'd write him up. Yeah, Paul. Oh, yeah, I remember what your court date was. I'm not sure, probably over towards Vancouver. But don't give me lying, it's been so long since I've been up there. But I've seen the name of that so many times, and it always blew me away. Yeah, and that place we delivered to at Wizard Lake, we used to be able to park on the road out in front of their shop, and they repaved it, and which made it worse actually, because it gave it bigger drop-offs for us to have to deal with, because it was tight backing into that place. I hated it. Then they started where we couldn't park out on the road. Wasn't nowhere to park. You're on Central Time, so it would be like 10 o'clock Sunday morning. I'm on Eastern Time, and it's 10 o'clock Eastern Time, so it'd be like 9 o'clock Central Time. Been to Edmonton, too. And all the time that I drove up there, I really didn't see that many cops. And if I did, they was usually harassing cars. And you really don't have that many scales up there either, especially compared to down here. So if you're on Mountain Time, it'd be about 8 o'clock then. I try to come on just a few minutes before, and I'll shoot the bull for 10, 15 minutes, whatever, and let a few people come in. Then we'll say an opening prayer, and whatever the good Lord puts on me, we get going with it. Well, there's a couple places where you cross where Canada and the U.S. share a scale house. And there I've had the U.S. part people in there harassing me, but not the Canadian ones. And I rode the, Highway 1? I rode that rascal through them mountains and your state park out there or whatever it is, all the way to the west coast. That was a hell of a ride. Got snowed in on top of a mountain out there in that park. And at least there was a truck stop up there. That was a story to tell. Oh. Wife, she was so worried. No phone service up there. And when me and her came up with a plan, and I told her, I said, well, when I bought dinner in there, I paid for it with my debit card. I said, so if you're not getting a hold of me and I've been out of pocket for any length of time, start watching the bank account and see if I've used my card. So that way it'll tell you I'm okay, I just don't have phone service. Yeah, the Trans-Canadian Highway, I think it's Highway 1. No, you only got a few highways up there, that's for sure. Well, I haven't really been on any real bad roads up there to speak of. That's something else that I like up there, is that you're riding along the highway and you would see signs telling you what construction company takes care of that part of the road. And if it's really bad, then you call this company and tell them where it's at, and they're supposed to come fix it, is my understanding. So, well, seeing I don't know about your pay up there, but I do know that there was a lot of Canadian drivers that would run the U.S., and they was getting paid Canadian bucks for it, which was less than what was paid down here. And they had issues with their companies over that stuff. That's for sure. Or maybe it was vice versa, but however it worked, they wasn't happy. I think they should have got paid more running down here, and they ran more miles in the States than they did in Canada. Well, that's all true. But y'all have a lot of pullovers too. And you don't have near the trashy highways that we have. When I first started running up there, I had trouble with your trash cans. I ain't gonna lie. They might have been bear proof, but they was hillbilly proof too. Them things was a pain in the butt to figure out how to open one of them. Well, the my understanding of that, they could not hire a Canadian citizen as a driver down here unless their company had an office in Canada. I'm not positive, but that's what I think I'd heard at one time. So, boy, did you. I finally figured it out, though. You didn't fool me for too dadgum long. Oh, fuel prices are ridiculous up, and that's something else, Trap. You get up there. Down here, you used to stick in 2 tanks, one in each, or another in each tank, and letting it go. Up there, you can only run one side at a time. So you got to fill this tank, then you got to go over to the other side and fill that tank. Drove me crazy. Right. I realize that. And I couldn't pick up a Canadian load and deliver a Canadian load, and you can't pick up an American load and deliver it in an American load. You have to pick one up that crosses the border to the other country. Which that's what was sweet about hauling boats is unless we got a return, and they would save their returns up till they had a whole boat, a trailer load of them, which was 3 or 4 boats, 5 at the most. So, no spills that way. Yeah, right. And freeze your ass off in the wintertime waiting on it because they're not that fast either. Well, folks, I've been on here an hour and a half. Got to be getting late my time. I'm fixing to go in here and harass Grandma and maybe have me a sandwich. But I appreciate all y'all coming in. Appreciate the little help there on the till. That stuff will just help go down the road with me and Grandma trying to do our next adventure. But y'all remember, good Lord loves you. So do I. Y'all have a blessed evening. Thanks for coming in now. Good night. I don't know. I never hauled cars except on a flatbed. All right. Good night, everybody.